Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's talk horror.
Today we're going to do our top 10 least favorite horror movies.
Now, as always, these lists are subjective. We're not saying these movies are pieces of shit. You shouldn't go watch them. These are just our personal least favorite horror movies. Would you like to start us off?
I thought that's what we were doing. I'm totally kidding. So our number 10 is The Nun. This was a movie that I was so excited for. I thought The Nun in The Conjuring was super, super scary. Like one of the scariest villains. And then we got The Nun and I was so disappointed.
It was so bad. Again, beautiful cinematography.
Yes.
But it was just like one jump scare to the next jump scare to the next jump scare. And when you look at what The Nun was in The Conjuring 2 with Valak, it was so scary.
The Nun is one of the scariest villains in that universe. And they could have done so much with it, but what we got just wasn't what I was expecting.
We just can't get a good Nun movie.
We can't. For some reason, they just cannot deliver a good Nun movie.
Right. Number 9 is going to be on a lot of these lists, and that's Jaws the Revenge. A shark follows a family to go and get revenge on them. Just nothing good about this movie.
They really are giving sharks a bad name.
Yeah. And this movie, like I said, I loved Jaws, obviously. We're both big fans of Jaws 2. Jaws 3D is at least goofy. This movie's just ridiculous all the way through and through. So nothing for me personally to enjoy with Jaws the Revenge.
Number 8 is Black Christmas 2019.
You talk about missing a mark.
So this is another one of those movies that they are similar, I guess, in a way to, the OG and
It's close enough.
Yeah, so let's just put on Black Christmas and call it a day.
There's nothing about this movie that is connective tissue to even the remake. And the way it's like, this whole movie's about toxic masculinity, but it's brought on by ooze. They just completely missed the mark. And I'm all about a feminist movie.
Oh, me too. I love feminist movies, but there's I don't know. There's like a particular way to do one, to have a horror movie and then to have your message.
This one was strictly
preachy. It was
preachy.
just a message and preach and
it wasn't even good. It missed the mark on the message it was trying to convey. So number 7 is from a franchise that we're not huge fans of anyway, but this one just lacked in everything, and that's Leprechaun Origins.
It didn't even have the funny Leppy.
That's the one saving grace to even the worst Leprechaun movie.
Is Leprechaun. He is the face. He is what you go to watch the Leprechaun movies when you know that they're probably not going to be great. Mm-hmm. It's for Leppy.
And as a WWE fan, when I heard that Hornswoggle was casted as the Leprechaun, I was so excited. I was like, this is going to be amazing. Mm-hmm. And then what we got, it's almost like a troll instead of a leprechaun. It doesn't even look
like a leprechaun, and
It failed in every way possible, and it had all the recipe to be a great movie. All the recipe was there. Mm-hmm. Like I said, even the worst Leprechaun movies, at least you'll laugh at what Leprechaun does. This failed at even that.
Number 6, we have Creepshow 3. And
good luck following 1 and 2 anyway.
Yeah, it's just exactly. I mean, they didn't even. It felt like it. I don't know. It wasn't even like a creep show.
It felt made for TV.
Yeah.
Like the effects in this, there was not even one anthology in this, in our opinion, that was worth sticking around for.
No.
This is one of those movies that, as we're watching it, we're like, oh my god, can this just fucking end already? And that should never be how it is, especially if you're watching a creep show film.
Absolutely. You should be entertained the entire time because that's what the first 2 does.
Right. So let's go from one anthology to another. And this is Tales from the Hood 2. The golly thing at the beginning was bad enough. That alone was bad when you brought that into it. And then when you bring in the real life stuff of Emmett Till.
Yeah. I'm out when I love horror because it brings you fake.
It's fiction.
Yeah, it's fiction, but when you bring real stuff into horror,
the way they did it too. Because even if you bring real stuff in, sometimes I can understand it, but when you do it the way they did in this movie, it was very distasteful. Yeah. The robot at the end, even the Welcome to Hell wasn't delivered as well in this movie. He was the best part of the movie, obviously, but when you have the robot at the end that's acquiring the bad guys and the Emmett Till stuff and the golly doll. Nothing about this movie was redeemable for me. I hate this movie. So number 5, Tales from the Hood 2.
Number 4 is another one that we were constantly like, is this almost over? And we were only like 10 minutes into the movie. And that's April Fool's Day 2008. Again, this is another movie like, okay, they're playing jokes, so let's slap on the name of April Fool's Day. It had nothing to do with the first one, and
it sucks because the cast was so good. But you can only do so much with what you're given.
Yeah.
And this just was not a well-written movie. It was not entertaining.
No,
like I said, like Scout Taylor Compton's in it. Like, it's got a good cast to the movie, but there's just nothing. You couldn't save this script.
No.
Nothing could save this script. How do we save it? Put on April Fool's Day so people will think that it's just like the 1980s version. No.
Didn't save it.
It at all.
It just made me really mad because the OG I love so much. And this one I was just like, what?
Now let's talk about probably the worst made movie on this list. And that's I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. Where to begin? The fisherman followed people it doesn't even know out to Colorado, and it looks like a 90s music video. There's just nothing about this movie.
It looks like something that I would have watched on Lifetime with my mom when I was a kid. Something like that. I don't know. It was just...
Every movie, even behind this movie, 10 through 4, I can at least give some type of positive thing to. I have nothing positive to say about these next 3, starting with this one. I really try, both of us, really try to be as positive as we can. This list was hard to come up with because we don't like to bash things. It's just not who we are. But we got to be realistic. If we're going to talk about our favorites, we got to talk about our least favorites. And with this one, it was just there's nothing to like, and I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. And again, don't even, if you're going to be this far off base, don't even try to connect it. Have it be somebody else that's the fisherman.
Right.
Don't try to bring in the fisherman from the other movies when that has nothing to do with this.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Will Benson was bad enough. Don't do this now. So, number 3, I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer.
Number 2 is Bug. And
one of the worst theater experiences we've ever
absolutely had. We went and seen this a long time ago. We were still teenagers, and
I want to say this came out in 2006.
Yeah, and we were like, okay, let's try it out. And the entire time I'm like, this has got to get better. It's gonna get better, right? What the fuck is happening? And so recently we were like, okay, you know what? We were young. It couldn't have been that bad. Let's give it a chance. We didn't even get through the whole thing because it is that bad. It's horrible.
And we did just record a trailer revisited for this, and the trailer is still fucking awesome.
The trailer makes it look...
Watching the trailer, I still want to watch it again, even though I know how... It's literally the definition of insanity. I know how it's going to turn out.
Yeah.
That's one of the instances where the trailer made a movie look so much better than it actually is.
Well,
so
kudos to that trailer because
marketing, great job.
They were really upset after this movie was over.
The guy behind us in the theater stood up and went, "What the fuck?
I want my money back." I was like, if he's getting his money back, I'm getting my money back.
If he's getting his money, we want our money. The guy at the front was like, "You watched the whole movie. You're not getting your money back." Fair enough, dude. But let's get to number 1. And those of you that are Sledgehammer horror fans or horror heads, out there, you know what this is going to be. And it's obviously The Exorcist 2, The Heretic.
Mm-hmm.
This is a movie for sure.
If you want to call it that.
There's just nothing about this movie that I like.
Except for the tap dancing.
Nope, I don't even like that.
It cracks me up. I think she does good with the tap dancing. Other than that, it's like it's so out there and just like I don't even know. I don't even know how to explain this movie to somebody that has never seen it before. It's like they didn't care about this movie. It didn't seem like.
I hate this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know that. If I met this movie in person, we'd fight. We'd have a fist fight the minute I met him.
Well,
and what made it even worse...
Yeah, go ahead.
You want to say it? Go ahead.
You go ahead.
We never watched The Exorcist 3 because of how much we disliked The Exorcist 2.
So we missed out on this amazing gem of a movie because of Exorcist 2.
When we watched The Exorcist 3, we hated The Exorcist 2 even more.
Curse you, Exorcist 2.
I was outside on my knees like, heretic! it really upset us that
Yes.
how much, like I said, it made us dislike the movie even more because we skipped out on The Exorcist 3 because of The Exorcist 2. So let us know down in the comments, guys, what are some of your least favorite horror movies? What are some of the movies we have on our list that you really enjoy? Why are we wrong? Why are we right? What are some that you agree with? We'd love to know your guys' take on things. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It helps to build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror,
Say who you are.
and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.